And welcome to the Siege. My name's Jason Ives. I am joined by Tim, the technician, to my right.
What's up?
And more importantly, welcome to our special guest host tonight, the ref himself, my boy, Keegan Ives.
Hey,
Keegan,
what's going on, Dad?
thanks for doing this.
Hey, anytime.
I appreciate it, man. I really do. Does it feel weird not being out there in the arena?
Yes. I'm gonna be honest with you. The last time I was here, it was like 20 plus weeks ago, and I was sitting with Sean and not you, and
Yeah.
I was super nervous coming into here. This time, I feel it's shoes on the other foot. I think Austin's more nervous than me right now. To be quite honest with you.
We'll talk about that. But there's a glaring absence here this evening. You'll see that Mr. Sean Green is not with us this evening. Keegan, one of my jobs here at To The Point Streaming is to review the previous week's commentary. And then Sean didn't pick me to win.
He sure didn't.
So he was disciplined and suspended for a week. How about that?
And I think he punished you whenever he put up the wrong flyer there. On the
Yeah, well, what can we do? That was actually Tim's fault. We're just going to blame Tim for that one.
Hey, I'm a hardware guy.
He sure is.
Yeah.
That's why we pay you, brother.
Nah, Sean is actually down in the teachers conference business trip down in Florida. Sean, we wish you all the best. You'll certainly miss my friend. But I'm sure he's watching along with us. I'm sure he's going to commentate and criticize everything that we do one way or another.
Absolutely.
Now, Keegan, did you get to go to the concert out at Whiskey Bent this weekend?
I unfortunately was not able to. Instead, I was actually in Milwaukee competing in the Pokemon TCG Masters Division Regional Championships.
Well, let me tell you, you missed a heck of a concert. They killed it out there.
Oh, my goodness.
We went out there a little bit early that day to catch a couple of the early bands. It was a brilliant showing, but they
Really?
had some fantastic auction items. Tim, do we know how much money they raised?
Not yet. They're still adding up the money, but it's a substantial amount.
Yeah, that was for Abby. Unfortunately, the young lady who passed, she was a nursing student, and she was the money raised is going to go to a foundation to enable future scholarships.
Yes.
Yeah.
For future nurses.
So
Desperately needed.
hats off not only to Mike Grady, of course, but to all the crew at Whiskey Bent, big sponsor of ours. But quite frankly, we were out there, no problem with service. It was a fantastic crew, and it was a pretty hot day out there too.
His staff was amazing.
Oh yeah, all the stuff
vibe-
out there is terrific.
The vibe, as they say in my youth, is immaculate.
All right, bringing a younger touch to the
Yes,
show tonight.
absolutely.
Doesn't fit the
Whole
demographic.
yeah,
That's
whole
fine.
different
That's
kind of
fine. That's fine.
demographic
We're
going
teaching
on.
we're teaching the older generation some new lingo on the streets. Okay.
Folks, thanks for joining us. If you can, give us a like, give us a share. Let's get the feed out there. Let's get the credit to these players and get what they deserve. They deserve a lot of people watching. They put a lot of work in this week. So we got a great match for you tonight. Keegan, let's talk about ref responsibilities.
Absolutely. Okay.
I'm going to go a little bit quick fire here.
Okay.
You've been a ref now for 40 weeks.
Mhm.
Okay? The most nervous player you've had on the Siege?
Entirely as a whole, I'm gonna say Jen Ferris.
Jen Ferris? Most nervous? All right. How about the angriest player?
Kevin Cheshire.
Kevin Cheshire is
Yes.
going to be the angriest
Yes,
player out there.
probably.
He was probably kidding with you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with some of the words that he was saying at TP, I don't know about that.
He's a good egg. I like Kevin a lot. Hardest match to control?
That match actually.
That
Kevin was a
Cheshire
fighter. Yeah.
TP match?
Yeah, it was a nightmare in there a little bit, but it was a beautiful nightmare.
it was that was a good one. Now, how about the best match you've chalked?
I would probably have to say Larry Butler and Seth Stefano taking on Tim and Guy. That was a fun match to watch. Like just the amount of scoring that was in that match. It was very, very PDC-esque in terms of like where you expect our players and caliber to like be at in terms of the scorekeeping. It felt like in just a brief moment of time I was somewhere in England chalking it.
Who was the loudest player that's ever been in the arena? Because we got some loud ones tonight, let me tell you.
Yes, we do have a couple of loud ones. The immediate thought, even though I don't even remember if he was all that loud during his showing, was Don Kirby.
Okay.
Of course, synonymously in the indie darts community,
Sure.
is one of the loudest, more so the
He's a little bit
talkative
of a,
people.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a talker. Are you nervous before you go out there when you go out to do any of these reffing episodes? Are you more nervous with the caliber of player, or is it the type of player? Is there any nerves on your behalf when you go out there?
When the averages teeter around that 60 to lower demographic, where where the common Joe usually will be at, I'm not too worried because I expect statistically, because based off their average, they're not going to have as many high scoring rounds as, let's say, a person that has an 80+ average,
sure.
like our technician over here.
I
Well, it feels like it sometimes, Tim. Okay, but no, yeah. I mean, I think it varies, usually week by week. Most of the time, though, I will say I'm generally pretty confident, especially after the first 10 weeks of doing this. I've gained a lot of confidence in my math capability, and despite being a liberal arts major, I know a little bit of a quick addition here and there. So.
Well, you have to. You have to. Is there times when the players pull out the darts before you get the score?
Oh God, yes. Oh God, yes. Especially during legs 4, 5, and onward. Usually, when players get more in a rhythm, they get to the point where they're wanting to throw their 3, and sometimes they're even rushing. And they go up there, they immediately want to pull out their darts, and be like, "Argh." And most of the time, it's fine. Usually, I can calculate their 45 or 60 or 100 or something like that quickly. But it's those instances where they have they're super anxious when they get 2 triples, like they go trip 20, trip 19, and then some XYZ number like a 7 because they threw at the 19 or whatever, And in those instances, sometimes it's hard real quickly to do the mental math and go, was that a 7? Was that a trip 7? Was
sure.
that a single 19?
Sure.
And it was just on the wire,
sure.
sort of thing. So it's a matter of just having that surefire confidence and going with your gut intuition, because as the referee, not a lot of people know this, but you do have the final say and word in terms of where the person throws at and what they're actually aiming at for an out, even though it may not necessarily be the correct out. Like, for instance,
you're not allowed to tell them what to throw.
Correct,
at, right?
but
you're allowed to tell them what they have remaining left.
If I, for some reason, were to say they have 28 left when they actually had 32 left, because I did the math on their first 2 darts wrong,
yep,
and they hit that double 14.
Yep.
After doing the math, after realizing the fact that it was incorrect, because I, as the ref, had told them that double 14 was what they needed, or 28 more so was the number they needed, and they hit that double 14 on the 3rd dart.
Sure.
Then that's how the game goes.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. Did you give any advice to Austin before he went out there this evening?
I did. So one thing as a ref, I will say I'm pretty self-conscious about is putting my hand out before the players go up there and they pull their darts.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. If you need some extra time as a ref because you want to make sure that what you're scoring is the correct score, especially when we have now hundreds of people watching a show and they want to make sure the quality of match is up there.
Let's get to 100.
Yes, please.
We'll keep him correct.
Then it could get a little intimidating at times. So
sure.
My best advice to him was, especially with this rambunctious 4 that we're going to get into in a minute, if they want to get in there and pull their darts really quickly, Austin's got to not be afraid to put his hand out there and say, "Hold up, wait a second, let me make sure I'm doing the math correctly," and double check it. And then call out the score correctly.
Yeah, as a ref, you find yourself, you've got to keep the pace of the match going
Absolutely.
pretty well.
Yep.
You got to be in control of that.
Yes, and I think you do as equal job of that behind the scenes, especially when we get our players in that 2-minute intermission.
Yep.
And kind of,
Well, yeah, that's when I become the bad guy, and I have to get everybody back in the arena because we don't want to be breaking for too long. All right, so before we go any further, let's give our condolences, our thoughts, our prayers, definitely in our thoughts to the families. Jessica Haynes, number one, we lost Jessica here last week. I met Jessica once before, don't know her personally, but obviously her family's struggling right now, losing Jessica. So all the best to her. I heard she had a couple of children, and of course to Guy and CJ, and to the whole Perry family. Quite frankly. We understand your loss. We certainly, the whole community wants to rally around you and keep you raised up. But seriously, thank you for everybody's support, and our